just to explain you what is going on, because we have a Onslaught University, we have a couple of streams throughout these 2 weeks of the Captain's event that will just show you a couple of educational contents, like how you can backline or how you can install mods, which will be the topic of today. So, for anyone that is new to the entire thing, what is the Captain's event? The Captain's event is a 2 week long period in which new players or players that have been in the community for a while and just want to see where they can go can be grouped up with a coach, which is usually like a veteran player that has been in the game for quite a long time, and can play together for these 2 weeks to practice all these hard modded difficulties and see where they can go until they can showcase it in the final stream of these 2 weeks. Throughout these 2 weeks, we will have the Onslaught University streams once here and there. You can see the schedule for them right here on the screen in case you want to know when the next one is going to happen. You will also be notified about them in the Discord. Today we will look at 3 different topics. First is going to be how to install mods, which I will present to you, and then we look at how we can deal with crashes and how to set up your game. Both of those will be presented by Dalocraft and Mr. Chen. Say hello.
Hello, this is Dalocraft here. I think Mr. Chin is away from the keyboard at the moment. Step away and do something.
Perfect timing. All right. In case you have any questions throughout the time, you can always write them straight into the Twitch chat, or if you have any questions that will arise afterwards, you can always go into the Onslaught series Discord and ask your questions in the general chat, and people will try to answer them the best they can. All right, and without further ado, we can get started. So, right here is Steam. Look at that. All right. When you open up Steam, you have, and go to the Vermintide 2 game, you have a couple of icons here right below the play button, and one of them is called Workshop. You will have to go there because all mods you will find right here. You have the option to install them right through Steam, so you don't have to do anything externally through any website or anything, which is quite comfortable. There are 2 different types of mods, just like in a very broad sense, that can be used. You have sanctioned mods and you have unsanctioned mods. The sanctioned mods can be found when you go down here to the sanction status and look for approved. And there you will find all the mods that are sanctioned. What is the difference between those 2? Well, first of all, sanctioned mods can be used in the official realm and can therefore be used while progressing, while gaining XP, while getting more weapons, and so on and so forth. While the unsanctioned mods can only be used in the mod realm, the realm in which you cannot get progress by gaining XP or crafting new weapons, and so on and so forth. This is only an option in the official realm. These approved mods are also available to you for tournaments. So in case you plan on taking part in any future tournaments, for example, these mods will also all be allowed for you to use. All right, so now that we know what 2 types of mods there are, let's just look at what we want to install for mods, because the difficulties in this Captain's event are Deathwish Onslaught Cataclysm 1, Deathwish Onslaught Cataclysm 3, and Deathwish Onslaught Cataclysm 3 Plus. So for those difficulties to function, we will have to install a couple things. First of all, the most known one and the name of the series is going to be Onslaught. Onslaught, you can find right here, is a mod that changes how the game functions a bit and gives more hordes at you and so on and so forth. The details of that you can read up as well in the Discord server. So what we want to do is we want to just click subscribe here, and with that we basically have it installed. Right next to it, you will see a small section that is called required items. That is very important because some mods will need another mod to function. These mods will have to be above them as well in the mod hierarchy. This means that you will have to adjust the mod load order before you go into the game in your launcher. How that works exactly, we will take a look at in a bit later. But right here, you can see Vermintide Mod Framework. Vermintide Mod Framework is basically the most important mod because without this mod, no other mods will work. So for that, we will just go up here and make sure that Vermintide Mod Framework is also installed right here. So also click subscribe here, and that's basically it. The next mod we want to take a look at is Beastman Loader. No, we don't want to load any Beastmen, but this Beastman Loader allows us to use Onslaught in the first place. Onslaught or Onslaught Plus or Dense Onslaught or whatever Onslaught you want to use, you will need Beastman Loader. Beastman Loader is basically a fix for a couple of issues in the game, and it has a couple of quality of life features that are mostly for Onslaught mod users, creators, but not directly for yourself. So all you really need to do is click subscribe and make sure it is turned on in the game, because if you do not, you might have issues and might run into crashes along the line. All right. Next up is Death Wish. Death Wish, also in the name of Cataclysm 3 Death Wish Onslaught, for example, is one of the difficulty mods we need to have installed. So for that, also click subscribe here. And last on the line, no, not last, second to last, are two mods that are not directly difficulty mods, but mods that will be incredibly helpful for you throughout the captain's event, and something that you might want to look at. So first of all, we have Tourney Balance. Tourney Balance is a balance mod that tries to adjust the balance of the game a little bit, so it is more in line with the different characters, so they are not completely overpowered or completely super weak or something like it. So they're more balanced overall. There are a lot of balance mods out there, as you can see, so you can go ahead and try them all out as you want. I would suggest, if you want to use one for this event, if you want to go ahead and participate in future tournaments, you maybe take a look at Tourney Balance, because this mod is also used in tournaments. So if you want to participate in a Onslaught series tournament, Tourney Balance testing or Tourney Balance will be used there. So you might want to make sure you understand what is changed there or what exactly is up with this mod. And lastly, we take a look at Ubersreich 5. Ubersreich 5 is a mod that allows you a couple of things and has a couple of quality of life features that are very helpful for you, especially in the captain's event. Because in the captain's event, you might want to have your captain in the keep as well, in the game as well, so they can observe you. And this mod allows you to play as 5 people in the game. It also allows you to switch your careers very easily, because you do not need to make sure that everyone's on one character. So you can just switch to another career of the same character, but cannot have the same career twice. So for example, you can have 4 different elves in the keep at any given time, or also plays 4 different elves. It also gives you a few more statistics at the end of the game, and limits the amount of bots to 0 if you so please. That way you don't have to deal with any bots in modded gameplay. Yes, those are the mods that we need to get started, really. So once you have installed all of those or clicked subscribe, you can open the launcher, and then we can take a look at how we order them so they actually work in the game. That is the mod load order that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, down here, again, you have the official realm and the modded realm. In the official realm, only sanctioned mods work. In the modded realm, all the unsanctioned mods work as well. If you click down here on the mods icon, you find all the mods that we have just installed. So as you can see, they are all turned off right here. So first of all, you just go ahead and turn them all on. And the mod load order is also not correct. So Vermintide Mod Framework, the one that is the most important one, has to be all the way on the top. So we just click up right here, and that way we push it all the way to the top. We do the same with Beastman Loader, because that one has to be above Onslaught. And the rest you can basically keep as it is. All right, with that done, we click accept, and then we can just start the game. There are, of course, so many more mods available. So yes, you can have hundreds of mods. There are a lot available. You can have a lot of quality of life feature mods. You can spawn in enemies. You can do whatever you want, really. The options are absolutely endless. I should probably turn that down a bit, maybe. So feel free to explore, to test, and to try different mods in your game. Yes. Let's take a look at the mods in-game here. For example, one mod allows you to just skip this entire beginning intro, which is quite annoying. Alright. So once you're in the game, you can press F4. F4 opens up this mod window here, where you can change all your settings of the mods that have settings. Some mods do not have settings, and therefore they don't show up here, but some do. For example, the Vermintide Mod Framework, that is also the button that I just mentioned. F4 is the one that you press to open this window. You can, for example, highlight that with a star right here, and then you can just like move them up and down if you wanted to. Have a mod specifically on the top of it. You can also search for mods through the search bar, and yeah, that's pretty much what you can do. You can also turn them off here or turn them on. One thing that I want to suggest is you turn on this auto enable here for Beastman Loader. That way you don't have to turn it on manually, which is something that I will show you in a bit. For Uberstrike 5, you can adjust these scoreboard rows at the end of the game however you want. The number of balls I would suggest you put to 0. Vermintide Mod Framework, you do not have to do anything, just leave that as it is. These are just settings that most likely you will never touch. But you will need this mod, because otherwise no other mods will function. Alright, now that we are in the game, well, this game looks interesting when it's just freshly started. Okay, once you are in the game, you can start turning on the different difficulty mods. How do you turn those on? Well, you have to open the chat window and type and then you type /Beastman Loader first to toggle on the Beastman Loader. If you feel like to, if you don't want to type it out, and you can see already when you just type /, you can see all these different commands popping up. You can cycle through those by pressing tab. So if you type /Beastman or something, then you will already see Beastman Loader. Can type tab and then have it enabled. This is something you do not have to do when you press this auto enable and start the game fresh, but because we just enabled it, we will have to do it. So that way we can enable it. If you want to turn Beastman Loader off again, you can just type the same command again, and that way it is then disabled again. All right, we want to have it enabled though, and after that we want to enable Onslaught because we want to play Deathwish Onslaught. We also want to play with Deathwish, so we do the same thing here again. Same procedure. If you want to disable it, type the same command again. If you want to enable another Onslaught mod, type that Onslaught mod instead to enable that one. That's pretty much it. After that, you can just go ahead and start a game. You can start all these games in very different difficulties, but the two difficulties we look at in this event is Cataclysm and Cataclysm 3. You can see Cataclysm 3 is not visible here, which is a bit annoying in this new UI. However, you can cycle through them with WASD, go up and down, and if you go down one further, then you can actually see, you notice a difference here. Cataclysm 3 is available. Then you just press space, and that way Cataclysm 3 is selected. That way you can just start a game, and you just started a Deathwish Onslaught Cataclysm 3 game. That is it, basically. Yeah. All right. So just to go through a couple scenarios that you might want to get into. For example, if you want to have a different difficulty mod, I mentioned it shortly, but if you want to use another difficulty mod like Onslaught Plus, for example, because you think Onslaught is too easy, then you disable Onslaught that way by typing the command again, and then after you've installed Onslaught Plus, of course, because you will need that mod before it even works, you can type Onslaught Plus here, which will be the command for this mod, and that way you can enable it in the game as well. You can freely disable and enable Onslaught mods, but in general, if you want to be super safe that everything is working properly, you restart your game, because some Onslaught mods do not turn off properly. Just something to keep in mind. Something else that we might want to look at is when you want to use a different balance mod. Right now, we are looking at tourney balance, so we have a couple of changes here in the talents and so on and so forth. But when you think like, yeah, tourney balance is nice and all, but I kind of want to try class balance now, then maybe you, if you want to do that, then you will have to go ahead, install that mod, so subscribe to it again, and then also, once you're in the mod loader, or in the mod launcher again, you will have to turn off tourney balance and turn class balance on. You can only have one balance mod selected at any given time. You cannot have multiple, and you have to make sure everyone is using the same one. So you can just turn it off here. You don't have to unsubscribe from the mod. You can just turn it off here and have a separate balance mod enabled instead. You will have to make sure that everyone is using the same mods for most mods. Some, of course, you can only have as one person. Some quality of life feature mods, for example, are available to just like have one person use them and the rest doesn't need them. But in general, it's a very good guideline if you say, all right, everyone has the same mods, because then it should all work just fine. Yes. So we basically have installed all mods, have started our game, and we are ready to go. Well, I just closed the game again, but in general, that is how it works. Something I want to still show you, though, is a small little nifty feature that someone has created some time ago, and that is the Vermintide Mod Manager. It is an additional tool you can download. You don't need to. You just go on this page and click on this vmm.7z file, and you can just open it, and there are a couple files, and one of them is a .exe file. That you will execute. I just have it linked down here, and this is how it will look like. So you have all your mods here. You can see the sanctioned ones are highlighted in blue, the unsanctioned ones are in black. You can select all, select none, select only the sanctioned ones. You can search for mods, and you can also create presets, which is incredibly helpful. One thing to keep in mind, however, these presets can sometimes break when you uninstall too many mods or subscribe to too many new mods. So just keep that in mind. The presets are not completely reliable, but just if you have a very long mod list of multiple hundreds of mods, or maybe just a couple dozen, it is very helpful to just search for a mod and see where it is, and you can turn it on and off or something. Then you just click save, close the window again, and then you can start the game. It's as easy as that.